we deal with it? So if the congestion has occurred, what you can say that how can we deal? See, these many retransmission, window policy, acknowledgement policy, I talked about it in my previous lecture, and you actually need to at least understand what it says. What is the meaning of this retransmission policy, window policy? This every policy you can utilize to just avoid your congestion, which is happening there, right? And now I'm jumping to the closed loop. I don't know how many closed loop. Yes, one, two. Okay, actually there are four. Only two are given here, but actually there are four. So I will discuss here only about those four categories of closed loop congestion control policy. So closed loop means the congestion has already occurred, and now you need to deal with it, right? Uh, See, understand this. You have a machine, and you have another machine here. This is, you can say, is source is here, and here you have destination. In between you and your source and the destination, there will be number of intermediate devices or number of routers are there. Now, when this source transmits a packet, it goes here, it goes here, it goes here. I've just drawn a path, right? And it will be delivered to your destination. So this is your source, this is your destination, and this is the direction of data flow, right? Now, where congestion can occur? Congestion can occur on any device, any of the device. It may occur here, it may occur here, it may occur here, it may occur here, it may occur here. Why? Because the capability of handling the data which is coming from the source, right? The devices who are forwarding a packet, the capability of each and every device is different. Now, it may be the case that one source is transmitting very faster way. This router can handle it, this router can handle it, but the third router which is there cannot handle the data in that speed. In that case, what will happen, that it will be, this router will be slower router, and the slower router will take data from the buffer and forward it to the another router. Meanwhile, what is happening, that these all are faster or speedy routers, so they are forwarding, keep on forwarding the data, and the buffer of this router will be full, right? Of this router, the buffer will be full. In that case, we can say, okay, that router cannot receive more data and cannot forward it. So discarding will be happen, and that is, we can say, congestion has happened. That congestion has occurred. So you see here, this is one toll gateway, this is another toll gate, this is another toll gate. Here toll gate, we are only we are allowing fast tag. Here we are allowing fast tag, but here only cost cash is available. Just for your example, this is not a real time example, just for understanding sake of understanding. So here there will be faster, there faster, and here there will be uh, congestion. To avoid that congestion, how many techniques are there? The very first technique is, it may be any node which where the congestion has occurred. It is not fixed that only on this. It may occur at any of the node. It may occur at destination. So what is back pressure? Back pressure will not send any message to the source, but suppose here on this router, third router, let me draw it in again so that you can understand it. Here the destination is, here router 1 is there, here router 2 is there. I think I have the figure. Yes, why I'm showing it, I don't understand this. I forgot to mention here. Here your source is here, your destination is here, and these many nodes are there, and this is the data flow direction. Now you must make sure that which direction your data is flowing, in which direction, right? So now source is transmitting data to destination, and here this node we are saying that, okay, this is the congested node. Somewhere here congestion has occurred. In that case, it will, what is back pressure is, it will not send any information or with a packet or bit, but it will stop receiving the data. It will start discarding the data. When you stop receiving the data, you start discarding the data. And this is the way, when you stop receiving a data, one signal kind of way will be sent to this. your previous node. That okay, why you are not, see, it may be the case that you are not sending acknowledgement on time, or and you will come to know that okay, congestion has occurred. So kind of signal that I am congested node right now and I cannot receive more packets. So this router will come to know, okay, I need to slow down. When this router will get this kind of message from the immediate node, this router stop receiving data from this. And so that this node will come to know, okay, somewhere the congestion has occurred. So that this node will stop receiving data from the immediate upstream, we can say. These all are upstream router, from where for this fourth router, third router is a upstream router. For third, second router is a upstream router. Upstream router means the router from where you are getting a stream of data, upstream router, right? So two will stop receiving data from immediate upstream router. Now one will stop receiving the data from source, and so that your source will come to know that something has happened, some congestion kind of thing happened, and so that it will be somewhat slower in transmitting the data. This is what a back pressure elevation is. When you have a congestion, this is the method you can forward to your immediate. See, we are not sending any message, we are not sending any signal or beat, but yes, we are doing something so that they will come to know that okay, congestion has occurred. This is what a back pressure technique is. The second most technique is chalk packet technique. What is happening in chalk packet technique? That in contrast to back pressure, we are not directly, see here, if you are not directly but indirectly you are sending your message to the source machine, and our goal is just to do that. We want to, our goal is to do that we want to pass a message to the source that you slow down, somewhat you slow down because congestion has occurred, and we are doing it in this way. Another way to do it, because it is congestion has already occurred. So when a congestion has occurred, that congested node will create a packet and it will forward it directly to the source. Anyhow, it is going to, no, it cannot no, draw that packet in air. Yes, it will be direct, it will be forwarded via 2 and 1 and in a way, but will be intended for source only. No one will be in mediator node will be able to read it, that what the packet is, but that is actually a chalk packet, which is to inform the source that congestion has occurred on congested node 3, and so that you slow down. Right? Anyhow, our goal is to inform source that slow down, congestion has occurred. Right? Rather than kind of relay thing, we are not going for relay here. We have a destination IP address of the source in a chalk packet and source address of this congested node, and directly this will be delivered by the source to understand that okay, somewhere congestion has occurred, and so that I need to slow down. Right? Chalk packet. Implicit signaling and explicit signaling. In implicit signaling, right? So we transmit a signal rather than throwing a packet or rather than discarding a packet. We send a signal in form of bit. Okay, something has happened, that the congestion has occurred. It is going to be a congested bit. You will change a data in a bit for every immediate node, right? It may be in a flow data or it may be in another way. Suppose you have a packet in data packet. Here in chalk packet, what was happening that you will create a separate packet, chalk packet for it. But here you are with that data you are, it may be acknowledgement data, it may be data or file data. You will change a bit which is informing that congestion has occurred. Using that, you will inform your source that congestion has occurred on any node. Suppose it is from congested node, and so that your router or your destination or source machine will slow down, right? This is what we can do in a flow control or congestion control, right? Actually, this back pressure, we are not using it. People in frame relay were using it, right? You can use implicit, or in frame relay also it is there. Frame relay is a technique or a kind of what we can say a protocol which we were using in data link layer, right? Where people were using it, but no, our technique, what we are doing right now is datagram circuit, right? In datagram circuit, uh, we are not, or virtual circuit, we are not using it, right? If you have datagram, we are using the TCP or ICMP. We have the technique. We are using some way ICMP to inform other in datagram or virtual circuit. But no, not we are not using back pressure or choke packet. But these are the technique you can use for closed loop congestion control policies. Okay. In explicit signaling, when implicit, as I told you, in explicit signaling, when the congestion has occurred, the node which is congested node or who experienced the congestion, it will explicitly send a packet to the source, okay, as we were doing here, right? In chalk packet again, but it won't be a kind of a chalk packet, but it is going to be a bit where you have changed something to inform that congestion has occurred. Okay, these four techniques are there for congestion control and for uh, closed loop congestion control policies. Okay, our goal is to see how TCP is managing it, right? So two examples are there for congestion control. So now you try to understand how TCP is working in congestion control policy. I suggest you all that you keep your note and pen with you, just to, you will have kind of example things, so that you will come to know that how TCP is dealing with it. Okay, I will not emphasize on this part more, but I will emphasize on TCP congestion control policy. Right, I'll try to cover everything, but I will emphasize on this part more, right? Because it's a kind of practical way we can understand. Because we have seen TCP, and as I told you, TCP, there were flow control, error control techniques. So how it is dealing with flow control and error control technique. So to better understand the concept of congestion control, let us give two examples: TCP and frame relay technique. In TCP, how it is dealing with congestion control. Now you see, for TCP, you keep in your mind that one sender is there, right? And one receiver is there. Now, when you are transmitting a message from sender to receiver, we don't want to experience congestion control. We don't want the traffic must happen. So when it may happen if your sender is faster sender, this is your slower receiver. So what we can do is we can use a technique, and the technique says that in TCP congestion control technique, there are three steps you can use, or there are three rounds you can use, right? Or there are three steps actually. In first step, we say a slow start technique. What do you mean by slow start technique? That rather than whatever capacity you have to transmit, whatever capacity your receiver has to receive, to start from the basic window size, very basic window size. And you come to know that, okay, my receiver will be able to receive at least one packet, right? And that is the capacity, that will be the capacity. Okay, so you only send one segment, right? In form of, we can say, 2 to power 0, right? So first what you did is you have transmitted single packet, and that is received by your receiver. Now, if you get the acknowledgement within time, what it means? Before timeout timer, if you get the acknowledgement within time, then you increase it. Okay. So, which is known as exponential increase. Slow start, we have started from single packet actually, and then we increase exponentially. What we did is, it was 2 to power 0. Now what we did, 2 to power 1. So we have transmitted two segments now. So we are increasing window size. Now two packets are received by the receiver, and if you get the acknowledgement of these two segments within time round timeout timer, within timeout timer, then you increase it by 2 to power 4. So what you are doing is, you are increasing your window size. So here you are playing with a window size. First you send only single packet. If you are getting the acknowledgement within time, you increase it by 2 to power 1. So now my window size will be 2. If I get the acknowledgement within time, now my window size will be 4. If I am getting the acknowledgement within time, then my window size will be 8. If I am getting the acknowledgement within time, then my window size will be 60. If I am getting the acknowledgement within time, my window size will be 32, and so on. It goes on. Up to which limit, we don't know, but let's say up to a limit when we experience congestion. When we experience congestion. Now, how would we come to know that congestion has occurred? So I hope that this is clear. So I will transmit one packet, two packet, four packets, 8 packets, 16 packet, 32 packets, 64 packet, 128 packet, 256 packets, and so on. 512 and 1024 and so on. Until and unless, because where would it end? We don't know. We'll say that, okay, we'll go and increase it. Up to which limit, as and when our receiver says that, okay, or announce something that, okay, congestion has occurred. At that time, we need to do something. So slow start and exponential increase. This is the first step we can say. So first step we did is slow start. We have started, and then we exponentially increased the window size. Now, the slow start algorithm, the size of the congestion window increases exponentially until it reaches the threshold. And what is threshold? The threshold, we didn't have it till now. We'll say, okay, we do not have any threshold right now. How to decide it? So now, if we go here, and it may be the case that suppose threshold is given to you. Suppose threshold is 256. It's a segments you can transmit. Okay, so after 256, you need to do something. Okay, when your window size reaches to 256, you need to do something. What you need to do is, you need to apply this congestion avoidance policy. Because what is a threshold? Threshold means that after this, the size of the window, there may be congestion. There may be a congestion policy, or there may be a congestion. Okay, so you need to worry after this. Up to this, you do not need to worry. You go with a slow start and exponentially increase. But after threshold has touched, you need to worry about congestion. And for that, you need to go for congestion avoidance policy. What is congestion avoidance policy? Is, I don't know whether it is given here, but rather than transmitting or exponentially increasing, you additively increase it. Right? Let me check whether it is there or not. So I'll take one example and then explain you. So you need to additively increment it, right? So now you understand this. I am taking one example. Okay. Suppose one machine A and B both are there. So I am writing A here. I am writing B here. And for that, I am using TCP congestion control policy. What I'm using? TCP congestion control policy. And the threshold value for it, let us say 8. The threshold value is, let us say, 8. Okay. So what will be the window size at 5th round? The question is like this. What will be congestion window size? What will be congestion window size at 5th round? Did you get this question? Because if I'll go there, this will be removed, but it's okay. I'll be. Did you get the question? Yes. Right. So what you are doing is there are two senders A and B, right? And congestion window, you are given threshold. Threshold is equal to 8. Fine. And you are said that if it is using TCP congestion control policy, then at 5th round, what will be your congestion window? Fine. Let us go for it. So how to solve this problem? So as you are using congestion, TCP congestion control, we'll say that, okay, just a moment. Working. I'm not able to write something here. Because until unless I write it, you will not. Control 1. Okay. Yes. So A is there, B is there. In my round number 1, I will transmit 2 to power 0 because I need to go with slow start. So I'll transmit 2 to power 0 and that is 1. So I'll transmit 1 packet. I'll get acknowledgement back on time. This is my first round, right? In my second round, I will transmit 2 to power 1. So 2 packets. So my congestion window is 2. In third round, I will transmit 2 to power 2 packets. So my window size will be 4. In fourth round, this is my fourth round. Okay, this is my third round. This is my second round. This is my first round. In fourth round, I will be transmitting 2 to power 3 packets. My window size is 8. And my fifth round, as I know that threshold was 8, so I have touched, actually I have reached to threshold. In that case, I need to go to congestion avoidance phase, and congestion avoidance says that you additively increase it rather than exponentially increase. In my fifth round, I will transmit 9th packet. Okay, because my previous window plus 1. In my 6th round, I will transmit 10 packets. In my 7th round, I will transmit 11 packets. In my 8th round, I will be transmitting 12 packets. Right? I need to move forward until and unless I get congestion. So you see here, your TCP congestion control says that first you start with slow start, then you go exponential increase. After that, to avoid a congestion, when your window size is equal to your threshold, so you can say that threshold is equal to your congestion window size, you need to go with the congestion avoidance phase. And congestion avoidance phase says that rather than exponentially increase, you go for additive increment. That you increment by one only, by one only, by one only. Is it clear? Yes, yes, very good. Yes. Is it clear to other as well? Murtuza, was it okay? No, no, are there or not? Yes, maybe okay. Kashyap, yes. Ayush, okay, 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 very good. Okay, okay, good. So let me jump to that. Right? Congestion avoidance. So we have taken two steps actually. First, slow start, and then we jump to congestion avoidance. Right? So in congestion avoidance algorithm, the size of the congestion window increase additively until congestion detected. So until and unless so first slow start कब तक start रहेगा? So slow start will be there, and up to which level will go for slow start? We'll say that slow start will be there, and it will be in continuity until and unless you reach the threshold. And when your threshold is reached, what you will do? You will go with congestion avoidance phase. And up to which level your congestion avoidance will be there until and unless your congestion is detected. So how to detect the congestion? Let's see. So an implementation reacts to congestion detection in one of the following ways. So when you can say that congestion has occurred, when you can say that congestion has occurred, first, very first case is if detection is, there are two ways you can detect it. If detection is by timeout, when you can say that congestion has occurred, that A has transmitted 9 packets to B and you didn't get the acknowledgement within time. Suppose this is the timeout timer and within the timeout timer you didn't get the acknowledgement. So in that case, you will assume that okay, congestion might be there. And this is how you can detect a congestion. Timeout. Using timeout, you can detect it. The another way, see what we'll do in each of the case will see it. In other case, how can you detect it? If it is detected by 3 acknowledgement, I was talking about this, 3 duplicate acknowledgements. Can you recall it? Your packet, you didn't get the acknowledgement back, and someone, your receiver is sending you the 3 acknowledge, right? If you can recall it, for first packet you got the acknowledgement, for second packet you didn't get the acknowledgement, and for third packet it is received. Suppose this is lost, third packet you got acknowledgement is equal to 2, fourth packet you get acknowledgement is equal to 2, fifth packet you get acknowledgement is equal to 2. After 3 duplicate acknowledgement, you will go for faster retransmission, if you can recall it. And this will be why your packet is lost. It may be the case that congestion has occurred. So these are the two ways or two situations where you can say congestion has occurred. Yes, if you can recall that 3 acknowledgement part, so that I came here. Let's see, can you recall it or not? Right. So this is where you can assume that congestion has occurred. Okay, so if you got the situation where 3 acknowledgements are there, or sorry, timeout timer is there, and if you detected the congestion using timeout timer that your packets are transmitted but you didn't get the acknowledgement within timeout timer, in that case, this is, I must say, I don't know whether it is written there or not, this is a strong representation of your congestion. It is strong representation towards congestion. What it means, 95% chances are that congestion has occurred if you are not getting the acknowledgement within time, or timeout has occurred. You were waiting for some data and you didn't get that data within time. If your father went for shopping and if he is not coming on time, timeout has occurred. In that case, you will say that okay, congestion has occurred. Surely, for surely. Okay, on time, he's not every day he goes for office. Any of your relative, I don't want to just particular person, but any of your relative, or you at least, are going for your work and you're not getting back on time. Congestion is there, right? It is strong representation of congestion. So for this, what we need to do is a new slow start phase starts. New slow start phase starts. What it means, you start from beginning again. Okay, you start from beginning. So suppose I have transmitted first packet, then two packet, then fourth packet, then eight packets, then 16 packets, and suppose I didn't get the acknowledgement on time. So timeout has occurred. In that case, what I'll do is I will perform retransmission, but I will start from transmitting one packet, then two packet. I will not transmit 16 or 15 or 8 or 4. No, I will start a new packet. 1, 2, 4. I will again start a, a slow start phase. Right? How we deal with it? Something else we will change here, and that is threshold value. But I will show you that in that figure. I don't want to touch that part right now. We'll change the threshold value. Okay, we'll see it. How can we change it? Right. This is when the congestion is detected by timeout. If it is detected by three duplicate acknowledgement, in that case, we'll say that it is not a strong representation. We will say it is weak representation towards uh, congestion, because if you are getting three acknowledgement back, it means that only one of the packet is lost, not all the other, because you got three acknowledgement, because you got uh, your receiver must have received three message or three packets. In that case, he must be able to transmit you three acknowledgement. So it's going to be weak representation of a congestion. But yes, it's a representation of congestion, right? So in that case, what we'll do is a new congestion avoidance phase starts. So what is congestion avoidance phase? Wherever you are, suppose I have transmitted one packet, two packet, four packet, eight packet, and then three acknowledgement has occurred. So in that case, I need to start congestion avoidance. It means in congestion avoidance, what we were doing, additive increment. So the next way, if I need to increase it 16, but I will not increase it because I have experienced three acknowledgements. So I'll transmit 9, 10, 11, 12. Though I have not reached to threshold, but I have experienced this three acknowledgements. So I need to start additive increment or congestion avoidance phase. Right? Okay. Am I back? Yes. It was a network problem. So, yes, you got it or not? Up to this, no? We were here. Yes or no? Or I was discussing another thing. Yeah, I need to share it, no? No one is asking me to share the PPT. Where are you? Uh, Yes, yes, I shared it. So we were here, right? Or on previous, or here? Hello. Yes, I was here. But have I discussed this? How to go for a congestion avoidance phase? Right. So now you just take a look of this TCP congestion control policy. Okay, is in entire summary what I have explained you. So you just understand this, and you will have clear idea how TCP congestion policy does work. You see here, first you go with the slow start. The very first step is you go with slow start. Then very first condition is this is a slow start threshold value. Here you will have that value. Suppose I have 8. Just for example, in that case, what I need to do? If your congestion window is greater than your slow start, if your congestion window is greater than your slow start threshold value, then you go here, right? And congestion window is equal to slow start, it's okay. And here you go for congestion avoidance phase, that you additively increment it. You additively increment it. What will be your threshold value? Your threshold value will be your 1 by 2 of your window size, whatever window size is given to you. But this is for this actually. This is for this. This is for this, right? You go here and you additively increment it, right? If in congestion avoidance, if you have detected a collision by 3 acknowledgement, so suppose you have started 1, 2, 4, 8, and suppose this is your threshold value. So now you congestion avoidance phase. I will transmit 9, 10, 11, 12. And suppose at 12, my congestion window was 12, I have experienced this congestion due to 3 acknowledgement. What I will do is, I will not change anything, but my threshold value will be 1 by 2 my window size. What is my window size? 12. So I will say that, okay, SS threshold value will be 6. And congestion window, whatever it was 12, I will jump to 6. And then I will transmit 6, 7, congestion avoidance phase, 8, 9, 10, 11, and so on, until and unless this is happening. Suppose at congestion avoidance phase anywhere, if it is due to timeout, if it is due to timeout, what I will do is, whatever is my window size, I will say that my threshold value will be 1 by 2. And I will again start slow start. I will again start slow start. My congestion window threshold value will be 1 by 2, and congestion window will be 1 MSS. It's a message. Okay, the segment. Minimum MSS, minimum segment size you are transmitting. Right? That is what you need to change in. Right? This one, you take a look of it. One example, the best example I have, which I'll explain you. Yes, it is here. You take a look of this, keep in your mind, and now we are going to discuss one basic example of TCP congestion control policy from slow start to every situation. Every situation, it may be this. See, when you are at slow start and suddenly suppose that timeout occurs, what you need to do is, when timeout occurs, you need to directly go to this congestion avoidance phase, or you need to directly start, change it, your threshold value, you change it by 1 by 2 your window size, and congestion window size from 0. Fine. Let's see one example. SS means slow start phase. AI means additive increment phase, or you can say that it is going to be your this additive increment, or you can say congestion avoidance phase. That is your additive increment phase, right? Okay, fine. Let's see one example. So at this phase, you have at the initial phase you have started. You have transmitted one packet, right? You got the acknowledgement at a this is, you can say, zeroth round. This is first round, second round, third round, and you see all rounds are there, and for every round these dots are your CWND, congestion window size. Okay, at zeroth round you have transmitted 2 to power 0 packet, means one packet. Then it's a slow start phase. First round you have transmitted 2 packet. At second round you have transmitted fourth packet, and you keep in your mind that threshold value is 16. At third round you increment 8 up to 8, and then you have transmitted 16 packet. Fourth round. So at fourth round your congestion window is equal to your threshold value. Yes or no? Click. So at this fourth round, after that fourth round, it is going to be your congestion avoidance phase, because you are at your threshold value. So here you will try to congestion avoidance mode, and that is also known as additive increment, because now you will additively increase the size of the window. So what it was 16, now you see it is 17, 18, 19 and 20. So at every round, at fifth round you will transmit 17 packet, at sixth round you will transmit 18 packet, at seventh round you will transmit 19 packet, and at eighth round you will transmit 20 packets. Now the 20 packets are transmitted, but at that moment timeout has occurred. What it means, you didn't get the acknowledgement on time. So on the eighth round itself, you will apply multiplicative decrease. What is multiplicative decrease? From 20, you will jump to 0, because after timeout, you will start a new slow start phase. As well as you will change this threshold value is whatever the window size by 2. What was your window size? 20. So you will say that 20 by 2. What it is? SS slow start threshold value will be 10 now. So you see here your threshold value is changed by 10. It was 16, but here timeout occurs. So it will take that, okay, 20 size, then our threshold value will be 10. And I will directly go to slow start phase. So again, I will transmit 1 packet, 2 packet, 4 packet, 6 packet, 8 packet. I have transmitted how many packets? 8 packets. Now I have not reached to 10, but if I will multiplicatively increment it and exponentially increase it, it will directly jump to, from 8, it will be 16, right? And I don't want to do it. So 1, 2, 4, 8, and directly I will go to 10. Rather than 16, what I'll do is I will transmit 10 packets here at the 12th round. So if somewhere my threshold value is 12, so I have transmitted 1 packet, 2 packet, 4 packet, 8 packet. After exponential increase, I must transmit 16 packet, but I cannot. So should I go for 9? No, you directly go to 12, and then after 12 you can have 13, 14, 15 and so on, right? So after 8 I'm not directly jumping to 9, or I'm not jumping to 16, but I'm jumping to the threshold value 10, right? Threshold value 10. And suppose after that 10, what I'll do is threshold has occur. So what I'll do is I will start additive increment value. So now 10 to 11, 12. And suppose when my is 12, what has happened? 3 acknowledgement. So when 3 acknowledgement is the situation has occurred, I will take it as weak congestion representative, but I will take a step. What I will take a step is here, it's 12 now. So I will do one thing, that congestion window was 12. I will change it by 12 by 2. I will change it by 6. You see here, it is 6. And I will start additive increment. See, I am not changing anything here in threshold value. Threshold value will be 10 only. But I will divide the window size by half, and there I will start additive increment and go on. So now any of the situation occurs, you need to relatively take an action. This is what your slow start, additive increase, or multiplicative decrease scenario, congestion control policy in TCP. Okay, is it clear? The timeout occurs at 8. That's timeout occurs, then start from 0. Yes, 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 yes. Timeout occurs, then you start, no, from 0, not from 0, but 2 to power 0. It is 1. Right? You start from slow start, and very first packet you can start is 1. Right now. Any other doubt to any of the student? What? Why 12? Just a moment. Just a moment, Murza. I'll be there. I'm taking attendance. I have already taken it, but just I want to check some of the students whether they are there or not. Yes. What 12? Where you're talking about 12? Should I show you my PPT? Yes. Where? You can unmute yourself. If you wish, you can unmute yourself. At initial level, this will be 16 will be given to you. In 3 acknowledgement, no, we have not have any 12 as a threshold. Yes, it has happened 12. See, threshold value is 10 here. Then as I have reached to threshold, I'll increment additively. I will go for additive increment. So I will transmit 11 and 12. At 12, something has happened. 3 acknowledgement problem has occurred. It means that I have detected collision by 3 acknowledgement. So as I have detected acknowledgement, 3 congestion by 3 acknowledgement, what I need to do is, you see here, when it is for 3 acknowledgement, your window size will be your threshold value size, and threshold value size will be 6. Okay, 1 by 2. You see here. There are 2 ways you can check it, right? Timeout and 3 acknowledgement. Right. Anyone else want to ask anything? I think this all, I think quality of service I'll complete within one more lecture. I'll take at least one of the lecture for quality of service. Up to this, is it clear? Okay, so what I suggest you, that you search number of the problems for TCP congestion control policy. Number of examples are there. You search for it and you take a look of it, how they are working, how they are solving it. This technique which I taught you right now, you directly, right now you go for it and you try to understand it, right? How it is working. I think you might have a lab, na? Okay, you all those who do not have any problem or any confusion or any doubt, may leave the meeting.